now, please welcome the team from Rare for Sea of Thieves Community Spirit.
Hello everyone, I am Adam, I'm from Rare with the Sea of Thieves team, and I'm going to bring out my crew for today, one by one. So starting off with our executive producer, it's Joe Neat.
Thanks everyone, great to be here.
Next up we have our live campaign producer, it's Christina Parker. Woo!
Hey everyone.
And finally, our design director, it's Mike Chapman.
Thank you, everyone.
So, it's quite early for us as pirates, so I am going to start by having my breakfast, if that's okay with you guys.
Absolutely, Adam.
So this is... No, you're going to have to fill.
Are you enjoying that? Was it good? No?
I think you should
Nutritious?
explain what's just happened.
No.
No, I'll explain. So,
Thank you, Mike.
should we go?
Sorry? Yeah.
Should we explain it? Yeah. So just so you know, there's a meme doing the rounds on the internet at the moment. So in Sea of Thieves, banana gives you health. It gives you health, sorry. So, but in our game, you eat the banana whole. So this is kind of like caught people's imagination. So it's like doing the rounds on the internet. So yeah.
And I can attest it is foul. That is disgusting. I'm regretting that.
I'm actually impressed how quick you got it down.
It's still there. So I'm going to go through everybody, and we're going to start by getting a fun fact. And it's up to you to judge whether these are true or false. I'm assured they're all true. But we're going to start with Joe. Can you give us the most fun fact that exists about you, please?
Thanks. Yes, I can, Adam. Yes. So once I tried to go cage diving with great white sharks, and on the boat out, I got so sick that I basically just got so seasick that I couldn't even stand up properly. So when I tried to put the wetsuit on with the sharks circling the boat, all I could do was go to the edge of the boat and be sick onto great white sharks. So yeah, that's the fun fact about my seafaring fun fact.
So that's executive producer Joe Neat, everyone, being sick on great white sharks. Yeah. So Christina, you're up.
Okay, mine's not nearly as riveting as that, but my fun fact is that I can touch my tongue to my nose.
Tongue to nose?
Yeah.
I think we should definitely see it.
Come on.
I should have known it was
Stand
gonna
up for
happen.
this as well.
Okay,
This is a big
Make
moment.
It a big thing.
Very good.
Yeah, it gets quite up there.
That was good. There'll be a meme of that.
Oh no.
And then finally, Mike.
So, contrary to rumour, I'm in fact not related to John Oliver.
Or is he?
Well.
So with that, we best get started, I think. So, Joe, Mike, take it
I'll
away.
I'm going to stand up for this. Cool. So, there we go. So, we believe that Sea of Thieves is the pirate game that you've always wanted. So when you think about the world of pirates, being a pirate in a pirate world, it's this pirate fantasy. But kind of the allure of pirates, like where does that come from? It's such an important part of our culture and it appeals to so many people. And I think for many people it starts with maybe Treasure Island, that fantasy of following a map to X that mark to spot. Not just being in a pirate ship, but exploring mysterious islands and lost pirate caves. If you grew up in the 80s like I did, maybe even the Goonies, a group of friends who are united behind a common goal to find pirate treasure. Maybe the thrill and the excitement of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, a movie where nautical legends could come to life. And of course, recently, with the culmination of the series, the drama and the excitement of Black Sails, a TV series. But who can forget something that we capture, I think, really well in Sea of Thieves? A classic, if you're old enough, but the charm, the humour, and that sense of character of the Monkey Island series. We believe that we capture that spirit of pirates, that romance of the pirate world. We believe that Sea of Thieves captures all of that. But it's not just that. Sea of Thieves is more than that. We believe we are building a really special experience that's doing something really new, really fresh, and really ambitious. So what is Sea of Thieves? So, as I said, Sea of Thieves allows players to live the pirate life. You're going to enter this pirate world, and you're going to be able to craft your pirate legend. You are on a quest to become a legendary pirate. So this rich pirate world is going to offer all these different play styles, and you're going to have to build your reputation on your path to become a pirate legend. But the cool thing is that you get to share it with your friends. There's this wonderful pirate world. You get to crew up together and have these epic adventures. The world will challenge you. There'll be all these wonderful dynamic elements that ensure that your experience remains fresh and exciting every time you play. But the true magic of Sea of Thieves, the thing that makes it so different, so fresh, is the fact that you're doing it in a shared world. You're out there, you're having these epic adventures with your friends, but when you see a sail on the horizon, that is another crew of real players. They're just doing their thing. They're crafting their own legends. So just think for a moment the explosion of possibilities that can happen when crews meet each other in the world. It truly is a magical experience. It is so fresh, it's so exciting, it never gets old. It plays differently each time. That's what's so wonderful about our game. So I'm going to show you a gameplay video now to show some examples of a potential voyage for a crew.
Play a gameplay video.
Roll the clip, please.
Ah, the joy of a new voyage far across the Sea of Thieves. Just you, the wide open world, and oh, but it's not just you, she's here too. Oh, and this guy's here. But the point is, this is a shared world.
So this is actually a trailer that you've already seen at the E3 show. Sorry about that. Well, we can watch a little bit of it.
The world of Sea of Thieves.
I think we'll move on.
How
about that?
Above and
I'm sure
below
everyone in the audience has freeze-framed this video anyway.
I may have uploaded that at like 1:30 in the morning when I just got back from a
Yeah.
particularly strenuous night's work.
Good job, Joe.
Yeah.
Round of applause.
The panel remains surprising and delighting, just like our game itself. Okay, let's move on. So yes, as I said,
I'm really looking forward to seeing what the next video is that was going to be showing. Like.
oh gosh. You know the water slide from the end of the Goonies. It's probably
The
going
team
to be
is
that.
doing a really amazing job with the way.
Not next video. Joke.
These guys are
Go
good.
back.
There we go. Cool. Okay, we'll move on. So, yeah, as I said, Sea of Thieves is ambitious new IP. It's doing things different in terms of the gameplay, the fact that it's shared world, the fact that we're creating this set of tools, players can crew up with their friends, and they're in this immersive pirate world. It was important to develop it in a new way. This is a new IP. So we wanted to kind of get it into players' hands early. That was a key thing for us. We wanted to build the affinity for this IP early, build a growing community who can come in and test their game and give us feedback. We can share our insights with them and essentially build the game along with them. And then executive producer Joe is going to go into a bit more detail on that.
And it can only get better from here, I think. Cheers, Mike. Thanks very much. So, cool. So, yeah. So, I want to talk about how a notoriously secret developer, so after Rare, 32 years of history that we've got as a studio, and they're notorious in the past for really kind of keeping everything hidden in this sort of kind of countryside retreat, which is basically our office. And we wanted to turn that on its head for this game because we really, like Mike said, it's about building it's a new IP. We need to raise awareness in a new way. We need to build a community around this, and that's what this panel is about. We want to talk about how we've been doing that. I can see some members of our community here in the audience, which is super cool, and how we're going to continue doing that. So, we have something called the Insider Program, and so since December, we've had this open to people to sign up to. And I think we're at just over 200,000. I think I've spoiled one of your slides in a bit, sorry about that. And we basically give them tons and tons of insights into the development on the studio. So, like every month, we basically give them a report on how things are going on the project, what we've learned, what features we've been testing. We also... Hold on, where are we? There's a wider range of things in terms of kind of the videos that we do, the emails we send out, and everything else. And so, yeah, weekly insider updates we get out to everybody. And so this is just an insight into development. At the studio, we'll send out clips of work in progress features and just kind of special insights into what's going on, so everybody understands the journey we're taking on this title. Mike also loves writing walls of text in terms of we're basically massive design kind of explanations about what we're building and why we're building it, and everybody seems to really kind of appreciate this. We also do a day in the life of a developer, so this is on our insider forums. So this is just insights into like what people do and what their jobs are. So our community video manager John loves including GIFs in his. So John liking explosions, liking himself around the studio, and yeah, thanks very much for joining us, John. Bye-bye. Yeah, and also, though, what's really important that during the Insider program, we're running our technical alpha phase, and it means people are coming in, they're testing the game, they're getting to play it, they're getting to give us feedback on features and everything. But also, we're testing stuff ourselves, right? So we're testing that the game works, that we can scale our audience, because we started with 1,000 people at the start in December. We're now up to about 75,000 people that were invited into the alpha phase, but things go wrong, right? And so we have to kind of update everybody in our community of, hey, we tried testing this. There were matchmaking issues. Some people didn't get to play, and we let them know. And everybody seems to appreciate the kind of openness, the transparency of how we're trying to fix it. And now I think we're going to be having to write another one today, because we were actually running a technical alpha playtest yesterday where we had some issues because we were getting the new build out that everyone's been playing at E3 to all of our insiders, and there were some issues. And it happens, right? But by being open, by being transparent, everybody just learns to trust us and to understand that we have the best of intentions, and we don't always get it right. Hence the video in the slides. But yeah, so alongside that, we also run regular surveys with our players. So whenever they play the game, we ask them, what do they think about it? And we go through, through the forums, and we go for their opinions. We look at the data, the telemetry, and we really do change our approach to the game. We tune features, and we also look at our roadmap and what we want to bring in based on what players are saying. And this is actually an example of a survey we sent to our PC players before they even actually got to play the game. And this was us just going, hey, these are the kind of specific PC features we believe are most important, but what order do you think is most important to you of how we should deliver them to players? And we changed our roadmap a little bit as a result of these surveys. And it's just really great to actually be able to work with our players, work with our community to build the pirate game that they've always wanted and the PC game that they've always wanted. So now we are going to play the community video. So yeah, I will. This is just a highlight reel of all the type of videos we're releasing to our community. So play video, please.
The team is doing a really amazing job with the way you're bringing the community along the journey. I mean, things you do like this. Games are one of the few art forms out there where you can bring the community along. Yep. Mojang with Minecraft, which get to manage with a great community. And I think we're on a journey with Sea of Thieves and the way that Rare has engaged their community and grown it.
Hey, look, that person on the front. They're boarding us.
To go like that? Yeah. What, and then put it there? Yeah. That's awesome. Concertina we have. So the concertina we had. Amazing. Yeah.
Right, everyone on cannons. Everyone on cannons. Give them a broadside.
As long as we're not sinking, are we okay, Emma?
We're okay. Ankle deep water.
I feel really
Oh, I've been
cool,
killed.
Oh!
They've come on board!
Someone's on board!
They're all on board!
Oh no,
It's the same crew as well. They've completely f***ing done us again. I don't believe it.
I've been at Xbox for 10 years now, right? And I've obviously seen a lot of games launched. But, always at the heart for me is that, it comes back to our audience, and that's why, Sea of Thieves particularly fascinates me, and the way that you're working with your community and engaging them through your social channels, etc. It's brilliant.
We should have a look at it. Here it is. Wow, amazing. You should look surprised. Okay. So here it is. Imagine.
I need a TP for my bunghole. No?
I don't know what that means.
We come bearing gifts. Hello, kind sir. Hello. You look so good on the wheel. Don't borrow my ship.
Leave it, let's get out of here.
Have it.
Drop it and let's go.
It's yours. Yes, it's yours.
Oh, the man, they just left us alone now. They've got it.
This pirate crew has bonded together, going on an adventure together.
Yeah, with these set of tools that you can all work together, you can all cooperate and collaborate together.
With this goal of treasure in mind.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll always look at things that have inspired us and things that we have great respect for and great love for, right? And figure out ways to get nods to them in the game and everything else. And and the same will apply to our player base as well, right? And the activities that they go on and what they do and stuff. We'll always be looking for those kind of things to inspire us and see what we can do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That might be quite funny.
Don't put that in.
Cool. Really grateful that was the right video. But like that's just a highlight reel of all of the videos that we've been putting out for over the last year, really, since last year's E3. Wide stuff across gameplay kind of looks and insights, but also insights into how we're developing the game. And when we get our visitors to the studio, like Graham Boyd or Phil Spencer, you know, we wrote them into the tavern that we've built at our studio because we're really serious about this pirate thing. And we just get them to talk about what we're doing and how we're doing it. And it's really great to see how supportive everybody is, you know, the whole Xbox organization about this really unique and different way that we're bringing this game to market. So, trying to remember. Yeah, okay. So also, something else I wanted to talk about around the Insider program. So, you know, at the I think before E3, we had about 175,000 people signed up to it. I think we've had another 35,000 had signed up by kind of yesterday, which was like about 1 every 5 seconds, I think, since E3 kind of started, which is cool. But what we're announcing today, right, is a couple of things, actually. So for those insiders, anybody that signs up as an insider kind of before the game is fully out, they will all get a chance to play prior to release. And so at the moment, because we've been inviting people from the Insider program into the technical alpha, and like I said, there's over 200,000 now in the Insider, and we've got about 75,000 people playing. But we will, you know, if you sign up for the Insider program, you will get a chance to play this game early prior to release. And we haven't said that before. And alongside that, every insider will receive exclusive rewards which carry over to the full game. So, you know, as an incentive for people who want to get involved early, they want to come in and they want to help us develop this and make the pirate game that they've always wanted. We're also going to be giving them some exclusive rewards which will carry over. Cool, so I'm just going to hand back to Mike now, because he's going to talk a little bit about some of the things that we've learnt during our technical alpha phase, because it's all been about how do we, you know, get these features out there, how do we test them with real players, and what can we learn and improve and make the game better. So I'm going to hand over to Mike.
Thanks, Joe. Cool, so as Joe says, what's so cool is the kind of the position we have right now. We've got this luxurious position where we already have an audience. We've already got players in Sea of Thieves having a great time, and they're falling in love with it. But just to show you a cool infographic, and these kind of stats were correct when we left Rare and we came into E3, but we've had kind of like the key stat there, 174,000, almost 175,000 insiders. I think we're getting up to 210,000 insiders since we've been at E3, so if anyone's got a mobile device in the audience, please make our numbers look better and sign up and tick us over the edge. Cool stat there, Deathfire, who earned the most gold in the Tech Alpha. Also see that he was also the player that stole the most chests. Funny that. Cool, but it's not only that. It's not just kind of looking at the data and see how players are playing. It's actually, we've got this great opportunity to use our players to make our experience even better. So, this kind of diagram here kind of reflects the view distance of a ship. So as I kind of mentioned, that magic of seeing a ship on the horizon and then reacting to it and not knowing what that player's intents are, not knowing what the crew want to do, that's what's so cool about our experience. So we'd chosen 1.7 kilometers, so that's how far you can see to the horizon. We chose that for aesthetic reasons, but we want to validate it. So this is something we could only test with a real audience. The frequency that ships meet each other in the world. How often do they see each other? Even if it doesn't turn into a combat scenario or ones where they actually interact, just seeing another ship is part of the magic as well, knowing that there's other players in that world. So the ship has a heartbeat. So every so often the ship would kind of almost like send out a sonar in data, and we'd see if any other ships were nearby. So we ran the numbers to 1.7 kilometers, and what we found was that view distance equaled a ship sighting every 25 minutes to 45. So that felt pretty good in terms of having some time to bond with your crew, but it felt too long. You know, we want some variance there so players can still be surprised, but that still felt too long. So what we actually did was, there you go, there was a ship that you wouldn't have seen. But we pushed back that view distance to 2.5. And then we ran the data again, and what we found was that led to players having the chance to see a ship every 15 minutes to 25 minutes. So players can come into the world, they can form a crew, they've got a chance to kind of pick the type of voyage they want to go on, make some progress before then you've got that chance to have that magical moment of seeing a ship. That was really important to kind of bond the crew. But that reflects something that we feel good about now with our feature set. But as we continue our Insider program, getting more players in, adding to that feature set, we're going to continually evaluate this. So when we've got more features in there, maybe we want to push that out again. Maybe we want to ensure that players have a little bit longer because there's more things to kind of occupy them on the way. Another thing that we've changed is the skeleton balancing. So the first time we turned these on for our insiders, I'm not kidding you, they were literal Terminators. They were absolutely ruthless killing machines. And they would spawn all the time. So you'd set foot on an island, they'd burst out of the ground, and it was great the first time, but then they'd dispatch you. And the first time we turned it on, you couldn't even heal. So they were absolutely decimating players. So now we've added the banana, which obviously Adam showed off at the start. But yeah, we've now tweaked this. So they actually feel more like skeletons. They're kind of bumbling around on the islands, and we've changed their reload animation to make them feel a bit more clumsy. So tonally, they just feel a lot better in the game now. But kind of the accuracy that they have with the weapons and how frequently they spawn, that's as a direct result to the kind of the feedback we've got from our real players. So it's a great position that we're in. Another example is the sword combat. Obviously, a great pirate trope. Sea of Thieves has to have sword combat. It's a great thing that we expect. We showed it off in the trailer on the E3 briefing. But the way we implemented this in the tech alpha for our insiders was that we first added the ability to just slash with a sword. So you had the basic ability to use a sword in the game. And then we had the ability to block, so you could kind of deflect incoming blows. But then the ability to knock back. So when you do a combo, you knock players off, and you can knock them off the ship, and you can knock them around on the islands. It feels fantastic. But we deliberately implemented it in stages. So we could get it in, we could get feedback, we could kind of iterate it and perfect it. And that's ongoing now. We're still doing that with sword combat, especially with the balance between swords and guns. That was something that we really want to get right. So there's a reason to use a sword. Every tool has a reason to use it, and it has its place in the game. And of course, voice chat. I mean, voice chat is the way to play Sea of Thieves, right? It's a great way to communicate with your crew. I mean, the things you see here, this is something that we added to our main menu to kind of encourage players to kind of set up their mic, so to kind of highlight that it was the optimal way to play. At the same time, we went in there with a set of assumptions that you would expect that the people who play the most would be, in this order, the people who all talk on a crew, then probably crews where some people are talking, and then crews where nobody talks at all. You'd kind of expect it in that order in terms of how long they play. We were actually genuinely surprised that the people that all talk play a long amount of time, but it's the people who don't talk at all kind of second. Whereas you've got mixed crews, they're the people who play the least. So as a result of seeing that data, we've actually, when we always wanted to do a non-verbal communication system, we've actually brought that up in our roadmap. We've prioritized that based on seeing that data from our players, and we couldn't have done that without them. And we also, a key part of this journey that we're on is building a welcome, positive community. So on our forums, we have a set of deckhands. So we call them our deckhands. These are our most active forum members, and they're there to kind of welcome people to the Sea of Thieves forums, make sure topics are moving smoothly, keeping everyone on the subject, making sure that this is a welcoming place for our players. And as you can see there, they've already moderated Joe twice for bad language. So the deckhands are doing an amazing job keeping Joe's potty mouth in check. But yeah, they're doing an absolutely incredible job. But we're building a fantastic, positive community. Joe mentioned it earlier as well. We've got these hot topics with our community where we'll put a certain subject, like griefing, for example. How has griefing affected you in other experiences? And we'll get kind of feedback from players in our forum. But one of the upcoming hot topics is the Pirate's Code. So one of the things that we want to do is allow the community to create this Pirate's Code. What is the rules of how you should interact with your crew? What are the rules of engagement when you see another ship or another crew on an island exploring? We want to build this pirate code with our community, and that's all part of making it this welcoming place where we're building this immersive pirate world, and it can be a really welcoming place for players to come in, get lost, and have these great adventures. I'm going to hand over to Joe to go into a bit more detail on how we're reacting to our players.
Cheers, Mike. So the Sea of Thieves world, obviously it has a lore to it, it has a history to it that we've built into this. But it's a game that's going to be constantly growing and evolving. And players have been playing this since December. They're going to be playing it throughout until early 2018, and they're going to be playing it beyond that. And when in our technical alpha phase, we were looking at the first time that players had actually played the game. So the very first time we had 1,000 players come in and play the game, we were sat in our boardroom, and we had all the data and the stats on the screen about kind of what was going on. And after about 4 minutes, somebody, like the first player ever in Sea of Thieves, died. And we were like, oh, that's quite a momentous occasion, right? Like, we should do something to reward that. And it was a guy called Hallower1980 was his gamer tag. And so when you die, you actually go to something that we call the Ferry of the Damned. So this is kind of a doorway on the ghost ship. Oh, look, lovely. Does it work up there? Yeah, it does. So yeah, so we've got Hallower's name here, Hallower, and then 1980 in Roman numerals. I think we got it right. But it's scratched here because he was the first person to visit this place, this ghost ship, this Ferry of the Damned. And because he was on his own, because he was the first person in our lore, in our heads, right? Then he just scratched his name like people do when they go to really nice landmarks and ruin it for everyone else. But yeah, so he is now, you know, a permanent fixture in our game forevermore. And we decided that this is something that we want to do throughout the kind of experience. So throughout our technical alpha phase and then throughout the game, we're going to be building the lore of the world and growing the lore of the world based on player activities. So got some other examples here. So Fizzy Foxy, in one of our early tests, just basically annihilated everyone and got about 37 kills in a session or something. And so we decided to kind of, in one of the taverns in the world, get a wanted poster. Again, it will be there forevermore, because that's her gamer tag. That's her story. And Sea of Thieves is going to be all about player stories. It's all going to be about the amazing adventures players go on. And so this one, there's a guy called the Aaron Lee. And so at last year's San Diego Comic-Con, he actually came up to me and he gave me this. Which was he'd basically crafted his own Sea of Thieves coin, put it in this lovely pouch, and gave it to us as a present for the team. And so his gamer tag and the little coin itself is now here, stuck in a barrel in the world. And it was just a great way to reward things that our community do, things that our community that make us feel special and make us kind of have these memorable moments too. And so there's a series of these. This guy, Guts, he killed tons and tons of skeletons when we first put them in. So again, he's got this memorial in the world. This is, yeah. So Amir, who's here, and I'm going to shine it. Oh, sorry, just killed someone. But hopefully I didn't find you, did I? No, all right. But yeah, so Amir, who is Irony Falcon here, when we first put full damage into the game, he actually basically, how many times did you die? It was something like 40 or 45 times. Amir died, yeah. So we decided to reward him in the game because we just looked at the stats and we're like, what was he doing? But great. So again, and when we put these in, they're a surprise to our community and they discover them in the world when they play in the game. And I remember, Amir, you sent us an email, didn't you, kind of really thanking us. And it made us, like knowing that we can do this to for our players and reward them for taking part and have permanent memento in the game. I think it's a really special thing that we can do, and it's in our power to do it, and why shouldn't we? Captain Jack was a really legendary member of our community that went missing for a few months, and she basically she messaged us, the team, and said, look, I'm going to be going missing for a while, I've got loads of studies to do and everything else, but everyone on the forums was like, where is she, what's happened? They were really worried about her. So again, we kind of commemorated that. And this one's super cool, actually. So a couple of members of our community, guys called Xbox Addict and Geordie Tommy, actually created this book, which inside of it has a custom controller and a letter, a message to our team about how much they love the game and how much they appreciate what we're doing. And they sent this to the studio. And so this was such an amazing thing. So again, we've actually built that and we've put it into the game itself with their names on the side. And this one was a surprise. So Xbox Addict was at the Fan Fest on Monday, and I had my laptop with me, and I showed him this, and it blew his mind because it's such a special thing, I think. And then finally, so this one I don't know if everyone's seen in the community, but we've got a guy called Clumsy George who has. When he first came to our community, he posted about how he's been trying to get into multiplayer games, trying to join online communities, and he's found them really toxic, found them a real challenge to kind of bond with people and make friends, and he kind of was on the verge of giving up, and he saw our game, and he kind of thought, that looks interesting, maybe it's worth another try. So he came to our community, and like Mike talked to, how positive and welcoming our community are, not just the deckhands, but everybody else in there. We have an incredible online community, and they welcome him into the game, and he's always got these crazy stories and everything else, but one of them always involves a broom, basically. And so we took kind of inspiration from British pubs, the Georgian Dragon, where someone's always fighting the dragon, and replaced it with the Georgian Kraken, more on theme to our game. But that's our little nod to George. And he is, sometimes when he posts about the game, he posts about the amazing experience he's had playing with others. We send it around the team in the studio because they're just so long, heartfelt kind of letters of love to the experience that we're building, but also that the community is supporting. And so we're going to continue to do this stuff. We're going to continue to Like, as the game evolves, even when we lift the NDA, we allow players to share videos. We know we're going to see such amazing stories, such amazing moments, that we're going to want to change things in the world. And it's within our power to do anything we want, right? You know, we're making the game. We can rename parts of the world. We can change parts of the world. We can do anything we want to reflect the stories. And I think for a game like this that is all about those unique player stories, I think it's a really important promise that we're making to our players and to our community. We're going to continue to do that. I'll be honest, I wasn't expecting that, but yeah, thanks. Cool. So this is our goal, right? And it's quite a bold statement, but we truly and honestly believe in it, right? That it's about creating the most fun, welcoming multiplayer experience ever. And when we talk to like the Pirates code that Mike talked to in terms of, you know, like having a set of behaviors that players are going to respond to, and we're going to moderate, and we're going to make sure that they do behave in the ways that our community wants them to in game and everything else. You know, we want people to come to the game. Sure, they can have fun. Sure, it's a pirate game. Sure, you can steal stuff off other people, but it's got to be done in the right way. It's got to be done in the right spirit. And so, you know, this is our goal. This is what we're committed to. And all of those things we've just talked about, kind of, and the way we're interacting with our community, we're rewarding them and we're working with them to make this experience. Like, that's why we're doing it. So I think that's it, really. I think it's now time for some Q&A. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Joe. So I think we're actually going to start with a question via Facebook. I believe we've got a video. So prep yourselves. Or a clip. But it's from Facebook, so let's have a look.
Hi, I'm here with Jacob from South Carolina. Jacob, what is your Sea of Thieves question?
I was just wondering if you could elaborate on the progression in the game, if there would be any type of gear system, if it was anything similar to like Ark Survival Evolved or 7 Days to Die, or if there's any type of leveling system.
So Mike,
yes,
would you like to elaborate on will there be progression in their game?
Yes, so I touched on it earlier, but a world like Sea of Thieves, it's going to support a whole range of play styles because players will want to play in a different way, whether that's being known for being a legendary explorer, a legendary treasure hunter, someone who goes out there and takes bounties out on legendary creatures. There's going to be a whole range of ways to progress in their game. Ultimately, players are on that quest to become a pirate legend. How you get there is kind of up to you. You know, if you think back to, you know, what would it mean to be a legendary pirate captain? You know, you'd be a great navigator, you'd be good with a pistol, good with a blade, you'd be a great treasure hunter, you'd be great at sailing the ship, but it's up to players where they build their reputation. So the goal is that players' names can precede them. How you make your name in the game is up to you. It's not some linear path. You progress in your own way. And the cool thing is that because players are taking their own path to become a pirate legend, the weapons they have, the way their pirate looks, their clothing, the voyages they have, like everyone will have their own voyages, the types of adventures they can have, that will be a reflection of that reputation. So when you see someone in the world, you can have that cool moment where you break the ice and say, you know, where did you get that cool jacket from? Where did you get that voyage from? I mean, that's kind of a great thing that crews can share and bond over. But yeah, it's ultimately, you're on this quest to become a pirate legend, but it's kind of player choice to decide how you get there.
Fantastic, thank you. Any questions from anyone in the room? There we go, the fella there with the yellow top on. Hold on, there's a mic en route. Brace.
Okay, great. So on the topic of bringing new people into this great community, yesterday I was playing out the demo, and a friend of mine was playing with 2 kids, and the 2 kids bail halfway through, and which was a big bummer because 2 people can't run the thing in a highly collaborative game. And I realize now that 2 people from your community eventually jumped in and salvaged the session. It was a ton of fun. So the question is, how will you account for that past the alpha when you're introducing new people into this great community?
Yeah, I can take that. I mean, that's a great question, by the way. I mean, we've made a lot of really intentful design choices. I mean, right from the start, we never wanted to have very specific player roles. Like, because this world is going to challenge you, you'll be challenged by the fact that you're reacting to those incredible moments when you meet all the players out there. We've made intentful design decisions to ensure that players have that freedom on the ship, but also how you progress is shared. So when you come to a ship and you choose the voyage you want to go on, the rewards, as you saw in the trailer, like the chest. The chest is a physical object, and you all benefit from that. So when you get that back to an outpost, the gold is shared amongst the crew. And we also made it so you can imagine how that bonds players together. For when they get that gold, they then use that on their own individual progression. So there's real strong, compelling reasons why you want to cooperate with your crew. You can't. You need them to sail the ship with you. You need them to kind of work with you to get the rewards from the voyages. But at the same time, we made a decision, like quite early on in development, I'd say, that you can't hurt each other when you're in a crew. Because if you put that there in place, it's too much fun to resist. You will hurt each other. I mean, why wouldn't you? We've made very intentful decisions to ensure that people bond together and they work together. And we're already, like you say, we're seeing that in the alpha. But that Pirates Code, how we allow crews to manage their sessions, there will be a way for crews to ensure that if there are people disruptive there, they've got a way to deal with that. So that's something we're working on right now.
Just to jump in, I think the key is that the reason we're in our technical alpha is to discover things like this and to test it and then to kind of iron out those things, right? Because in a multiplayer game like this, a shared world, like we put mechanics in and then we can't be 100% sure how players are going to react to them and how they interact with them, right? And so like you talk about the crew management side of things, or even the non-verbal communication system. Let's get it in, let's test it, let's see how players use it, what they don't, and let's make it better. And that's how we're going to do it. That's how we're going to succeed with this.
So, a couple of more questions from Facebook. Firstly, David Payne asks whether our T-shirts are a nightmare to iron. Yes, David. Yes, they are.
I don't think any one of us has washed any of them yet, because we know it's just going to disintegrate, basically.
Live the pirate life.
Live in the pirate life, yeah.
We
don't wash.
Christina has to clarify. Yeah, we've got more than one each, basically.
Okay,
yeah.
Do you?
We
No
haven't
one
washed them.
Maybe
But if
you
we
do,
extend our
Christina.
stay, we're going to be in trouble.
And then Adam Whitehead was asking on Facebook, is it multiplayer only, or can I play as a single player?
Yeah, so the freedom of the pirate life. In 2018, when we throw the world open to players, it's important that players have that freedom to choose who they want to play with and who they play, like how they progress in the game. So you will be able to sail in a small ship. But the cool thing is that it's solo play in a shared world. Even though you're going to be on this smaller ship that's optimized for smaller crews and single players, you're still going to have the chance to see other crews out there. Because that's the magic of our game. But yes, there will be the option to do that.
Any more questions from in the room? Yes, the gentleman over there with the white or grey. I can't tell from here. What's your colour shirt? Light coloured shirt.
Hi, so one of the important things about being a pirate is being notorious in the area that you're at. So we know that you guys rewarded a lot of the community based on milestones in the forums and things like that. But how will other players know how notorious you are? Or how will newer players that come in say, hey, that's Blackbeard, or that is somebody who made an impact in the world?
Very good question. So yeah, I touched on it earlier, of your name preceding you, the idea that you've made your name in a reputation. So there will be titles. So players will be able to unlock titles that they'll be able to unlock, and that is a reflection of their reputation. I am notorious for leaks, actually, so I probably should get Master Leaker as a title. But yeah, the idea that, the goal there is that, when you do form that crew, that judgment is a reflection of, what title have they chosen? The deception is kind of interesting as well. Like, you've made your reputation in a certain area, but maybe you don't want to represent yourself that way. Maybe you don't want to dress as a legendary pirate hunter and have the title that reflects that. Maybe you're just there dressing in pirate rags and calling yourself something else. Like, that deception's really interesting as well. But yeah, the kind of key visual things that can spark conversation.
Thank you. One more question from the room and then we're probably done. This dashing gentleman wearing a Sea of Thieves t-shirt, I think. Chad. I was pretending I didn't know you, but it looks like we've planted you.
Never seen him before in my life. Yeah, so one of the things that's been really great about the technical alpha as it's been ongoing, and you touched on it here, was how the community feedback has driven some of the direction of the game. Now that you've got a release window of early 2018, have there been discussions about continuing to evolve the game post-release?
Yeah, so I'll take that one. Or do you want it, Christina? I don't know.
Let's see what you say first.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so absolutely. Like this, it's kind of, I think we started off saying this in like some of our interviews. It's almost like it's the start of the journey then, but it's not, because the journey started in December, right, last year. But the journey will continue, and we can, and like back at the studio, we've got a roadmap to like the end of 2019, and that's just because I can't think any further than that, basically. But like as we move forward, we'll continue to grow, and we'll continue to be looking that far in the future, because the ambition for this game is to basically operate in exactly the same way. Once we've, just because we've like charged for the game and we've got people in and there's a big wide audience, we still want to operate it in the same way, because it's the right way to operate this type of game, this type of experience. And like in terms of kind of campaigns, which is Christina's area, like you can talk to a little bit about just our plans for that and our plans for kind of supporting.
Well, I think there was recently a hot topic on the forum about the appeal of in-game events and operating as a game as a service. That is something that we're going to continue throughout the development and beyond of Sea of Thieves. Is we're going to have these special, exclusive, time-limited, fun things that make you interact with the world in a new and unique way, or interact with other players in a new and a unique way, but will also potentially give you exclusive stuff, as I said, on the forums. So yeah, it's continuing forever.
I think that's all we've got time for. So thank you ever so much, everyone, for coming along. And we'll see you soon. Good night, LA.
Thank you.
Or good morning, LA.